guys, what's going on? Space Cowboy here. We have a Dallas Cowboys victory to talk about, and the team is starting to play a hell of a ton better. Now, before we get into that, if you guys could, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future stuff. So, Dallas has now gotten their third win on the season. They are now 3-7. They're tied for second place in the division. They're a half game behind Philadelphia. And over the past two games, it looks like this team is starting to play a lot better. Well, they are playing a lot better, and they're starting to buy into what McCarthy and this coaching staff has to offer. So, how did this game really go? So, the game started off pretty interesting in the sense of we weren't expecting Dallas to come out and be as good as they were. Now, I want to preface my comments in saying, yes, I didn't expect Dallas to win this game, but that doesn't mean I wanted them to flop over and lose this game. For me, and I've said this numerous times, I believe this team needs to play competitively so that they can build a culture that can not only, we could see it come to fruition now, but we have something to build on for next year. And the way that this team played, I really think that Dallas has a chance to win the division if they can continue to play similar to how they played today. Now, to start off on the offensive side of the ball, Andy Dalton played a pretty solid game. He had 3 touchdowns and interception, which that was a pretty damn good defensive play. That was not on Andy Dalton. He went to the right guy. Schultz would have probably gotten a touchdown there. And, to be honest with you, I mean, he had a very masterful drive, the one that got us the lead. And I loved the play calling from Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has kind of started to win me back in terms of what he's been able to do once I feel like the pieces are in place. And, to see Zeke do well and the way that they administered Zeke and Tony against that Vikings defense was exactly how I feel the Cowboys should be going forward. Now, I think that this also has to do... This is the thing that I think is the biggest key to why the Dallas Cowboys offense played much more effectively. The offensive line was shuffled around, and it played a hell of a ton better. Now, you had Zach Martin slide over to right tackle. You had Connor McGovern start at right guard, and now that we're seeing what we have in McGovern, he needs to be a starter next year. Well, for the remainder of this season and next year. Look, I understand they're trying to make Terrence Steele something. I'm sorry, the dude isn't good. Now again, Zach Martin is going to be at right tackle forever because when La'el Collins comes back, and even if that hip injury limits him for the rest of his career to like 80% of what he once was, that's still good enough and way better than Terrence Steele. I feel like next year's offensive line, now that we have a sense of who we have to work with, I really do think the last question mark I have is Tyron. Does he retire, and do you have to spend a premium draft pick on a tackle? Or rather, is Brandon Knight the successor that, we've been waiting for if Tyron hangs it up? And I think that, with how Brandon Knight's been playing, I really do think Dallas has an offensive line that can get the job done. Is it going to be like the best offensive line in football? No, but we're not expecting that. What we're expecting is an offensive line to allow for whoever's at quarterback to get the job done and open running lanes for Zeke. Because Zeke got his first 100-yard game this year. And a lot of the runs he had, to be honest with you, as I'm going to be looking at the stats really quickly, he really did fairly well. I mean, I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Ezekiel Elliott, 21 rushes for 103 yards. Yeah, 103 yards. So he averaged near 5 yards a carry. And we'll take a look at these team stats together real quick. As you can see, Dallas when it came to passing first downs 13, for rushing first downs 9. Um, Third down efficiency could be a bit better, but then again, you're close to halfway. The Cowboys did very well on fourth down. There was one where I was like, the one fourth down, I was like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, Dallas had a pretty solid game plan, and they executed it very well. And I'm just talking about the offensive side of the ball. I'm not even getting to the defensive side of the ball yet. Dallas converted in the red zone 3 out of 4 times. They've been doing a lot better in the red zone, especially in this game. They had 4 penalties, so they're not as, ridiculous. I mean, and again, the only turnover we had was a very damn good defensive play. We had 2 fumble recoveries, and time of possession we lost, but that's besides the point. Now, let me see if I can get to the box score really quickly, just to make sure I credit properly who got what. Look, man, I gotta say this. DeMarcus Lawrence has been playing a hell of a ton better, and let me go back to here real quick. DeMarcus Lawrence has been playing so damn good, and I think, I was a bit skeptical of, like, what's going, and I think he needs to definitely start off the seasons stronger and faster, but he's been playing so much better as time has gone on. Donovan Wilson and I believe we sacked Kirk Cousins twice. Yes. Jalen Smith got a sack. Donovan Wilson and DeMarcus Lawrence combined for a sack, which led to the forced fumble. We had 3 tackles for a loss. And we had 9 QB hits. I believe Randy Gregory had the most with 3, yes. So what I'm starting to see is that the defense is kind of starting to put things together. Now, there are still issues. I think that this team is missing Trevon Diggs. I think that I can't wait to see how he does next year. I don't know if he'll be back this year. Jalen, there are moments where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But he didn't play terrible in this game. And, Donovan Wilson. Got to give him a shout out. I feel like if I were to give a game ball, I think that would go to him. Donovan Wilson, I think, deserves. I mean, in terms of, like, yeah, you can give it to Andy Dalton, but I feel like that Donovan Wilson deserves it. I mean, he's the reason Dallas was able to jump up. He was the reason Dallas was able to get some turnovers. I mean, holy hell. I mean, he ripped the ball away from Kirk Cousins, and then he he leveled Dalvin Cook, completely destroyed him. And the fact that McCarthy has doubled down on his performance, saying, like, I love how he's playing and stuff like that. I think that the players are buying into this McCarthy project, and I feel like once the pieces start coming together, things are going to be AR. Right now, to be fair, there was a blocked PAT. That's okay. We had only 1 field goal. I mean, we had 4 touchdowns in this game. 4 touchdowns. Am I right? Yeah, 4 touchdowns. I couldn't count. Yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton with 3, and then Tony Pollard with the 1. And think about it, like, we went on a stretch where, we only scored 2 touchdowns at that point with Dak out. I mean, to be fair, I mean, Andy Dalton definitely impressed me. I thought, like, okay, maybe if you bring him back, he's not going to be as good, but Andy Dalton proved me wrong. And I think that now that we're looking at, I mean, and again, we do have to understand that while we did win this game, it wasn't perfect. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, Dalvin Cook, he had 27 carries for 115 yards. I mean, Kirk Cousins was able to, like, Kirk Cousins nearly played a perfect game. If it wasn't for his fumble, he was able to hit receivers deep. That's a problem still. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because of that reason. But I got to say the defense has been playing a lot better. Like, sure, when you look at it, they gave up, 22. Well, not 22 because the offense in that Eagles game, that's not a fair thing. I think, it was like 15, 24, 28. Like, you're not going to hold teams to under 10 points every single game, but if you're able to get turnovers and make key stops. That's all I'm looking for. And I think that honestly, now that I feel like now that the rough part's out of the way, we're really going to see what this team has to offer. And now that they have something to play for on Thanksgiving against the football team, the Washington football team, they'll be playing for first place, obviously, if Philadelphia wins on Sunday. I forget who Philadelphia plays, but and also New York too. But we have a tiebreaker of New York. So Dallas does have a pathway to the playoffs. And I know some people will be asking, what's the point in making the playoffs at this juncture if our record isn't good? Well, here's my thing. Like, at this point, I feel like if you make the playoffs given the situation you were in, I think that's a huge confidence booster going into next year. And you look at what's going on. You lost your franchise QB to injury. And if you're able, listen, even if Dallas doesn't make the playoffs, if they can be competitive in all of these games, and I feel like the only two games that I think I feel like the Cowboys that might have issues with are Baltimore, which is the week after Thanksgiving, and the 49ers. Look, I believe that, Dallas has a winnable schedule. They have a favorable schedule, and honestly, I can see Dallas finishing, at best, I can see them finishing 8-8, 7-9. Worst case, they finish 4-12, 5-11. But again, we need to see what we have on this roster. Nothing's been perfect. I'm not implying that, but from what we're seeing, I do love what I'm seeing. So I don't want to waste the rest of your guys' time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you enjoyed the content, if you could, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And yeah, definitely put in the comment section below how you felt about this game. And yeah, we'll see you guys. I don't know if I'll have a video up after the Thanksgiving game. I'll probably have to postpone that to Friday. I don't know. It depends on how my Thanksgiving goes. So if I don't say anything, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure to travel safe with what's been going on, and make sure, to take care of your family and everything. And yeah. Have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.